Good afternoon, everybody. This is your weekly weather briefing for the National Weather Service in Atlanta for Thursday, the 26th of July, 2018. Some of the topics we will talk about today, we're going to review the severe weather event that happened on July 21st. Just broadly, a little bit, we'll talk about some of the reports that we received here in the office. The second thing we'll talk about is the general forecast highlights for today through the weekend. We are expecting a little bit of a pattern change for early next week with some potential for severe weather. We'll get into that, and we'll talk about the tropics. First, we'll talk about a little bit about Saturday, the 21st of July. We had two rounds of severe weather. The first round was early morning Saturday, and the second round occurred in the afternoon and lasted through the evening. This was not typical for July. We had over 100 reports of severe weather, mainly wind and large hail. The morning event was mainly wind, and in the afternoon was large hail, mainly. A couple of interesting things to come out of this. We did set a large hail record for July. All right, I'm going to stop right now, and I'm going to see, can you guys hear me? Okay, thank you. Thank you. All right, I'm going to go ahead and continue. We did have a report of no audio. So getting back to the hail record, 2.5 inches, that's pretty good, baseball size, or excuse me, tennis ball size hail. Was reported in Tequila. It tied a record. I believe the largest hailstone in July was 2 3/4 inches, and that was, I believe, reported in Austell in the late 90s. Also, we've sent a couple of meteorologists out to do some surveys just of the wind damage to see how severe the wind damage was with the early morning thunderstorms. And the surveys have revealed we've had over 75-mile-an-hour winds surveyed in some of these severe thunderstorms that occurred on Saturday. Again, pretty atypical for this time of year. Luckily, currently, it's pretty quiet across Georgia. We do have a stalled cold front across south central Georgia. Now, I did say cold front, but there really isn't any cooler air behind the front. However, there is a slightly drier air mass across much of north and central Georgia this afternoon. So what does that mean? That means most of the moisture is pooling along and south of the frontal boundary, so that's where our highest chances for showers and thunderstorms will be for today and through much of the weekend. Forecast is pretty much the same for Friday. That front really hasn't gone anywhere. It may shift slightly northward, but still the chances of rainfall range from about 20% to 40%, with the highest values or chances for showers and thunderstorms tomorrow from about Columbus to Macon to Warrenton. Now on Saturday we get a little bit of a shift, not earlier in the day, but later on Saturday, this front should start to shift northward. So low-level moisture will begin to increase mainly south of Interstate 20 later in the day. During the afternoon, peak heating hours, chances of thunderstorms, still about 20 to 30% south of Interstate 20. But they really increase or start to increase on Sunday as that boundary moves well north of most of the area, situates itself along the Georgia, Tennessee, South Carolina, North Carolina border, where you see across the southern portions of the outlook area, rain chances have increased to about 40 to 50%, and the I-20 corridor northward, we're starting to get into about 30 to 40% chances of showers and thunderstorms as the low-level moisture increases. Another impact, unfortunately, from increasing low-level moisture is the heat indices, especially for this time of year. But do remember, we are in the middle of summer. This is not atypical, but your heat indices will probably range from about 100 to 105, mainly from Columbus to Macon to Warrenton on Saturday. The numbers may be slightly lower on Sunday, but still you have heat indices around 100. Again, very typical for this time of year. If you want to get a break from the heat and the heat indices, you may want to go into the Northeast Georgia and northern mountains. Early next week, we do have a little bit of a pattern shift. We will have another frontal boundary. It should impact the area for Monday through the middle of the week. Now, Monday, it's still well west of us. It's starting to enter the lower Mississippi River Valley. And the front will slowly trek eastward for Tuesday and Wednesday. But ahead of this cold front, again, not really cooler temperatures behind the front, but it is a front, the winds are going to turn southerly. And what this means is deep moisture will start to move inland from the Gulf of Mexico. So that will increase the rain chances and the potential for rainfall. For each day, Monday through Wednesday, rainfall chances will be about 60 to 70% everywhere across the outlook area for the beginning of the week. This is a precipitation graphic. It's the precipitation totals for the next 7 days. However, most of the rainfall in this graphic should fall between Monday and Wednesday of next week. And if you look over just a little bit to the right, on average, 3 to 5 inches of rain is expected within this period, the 7-day period. But again, I want to remind you, most of that rainfall will fall Monday through Wednesday of next week, and with the highest amounts across the mountains of Northeast Georgia. Now, I also want to caution you, pay attention to the forecast because the axis of heavier rainfall may shift a little north, may shift a little south. So just stay tuned for the weekend. But 3 to 5 inches of rainfall across the Northeast Georgia mountains currently forecast, mainly for early next week. Luckily, severe weather potential from severe thunderstorms through early next week will be fairly low. However, as you know, typical summertime weather, we can't rule out an isolated severe storm or a strong thunderstorm this time of year. And we all know that they produce a lot of lightning. So people who are outdoors need to be careful of lightning, even though severe weather, severe thunderstorms are not forecast. But I do want to point out that the potential for flooding is between moderate and high, and mainly that is for the period, again, Monday through Wednesday. So severe thunderstorms, isolated, but the flooding potential will increase for early next week. Getting to the tropics, lucky for us, they're going to be quiet, not only for the next 48 hours, but for the next 5 days. Okay, just to review, mostly quiet weather for today and Friday. Low-level moisture begins to increase for the weekend. That will raise heat index values, and scattered showers and thunderstorms are expected each day across much of the area. For the beginning of next week, a cold front will impact the region, and the potential for locally heavy rainfall will increase. And again, just to reiterate, the tropics are expected to remain quiet through the period. Okay, guys, that's it for today. If you have any questions, if you're on the seminar, put them in chat, please, and I'll unmute the phone shortly.